Hello, everybody. Here we are again for another edition of Join the Discussion. This time we have gubernatorial candidate Aaron Chadbourne. So, the thing I want to talk about, Aaron,
Yep.
you are running for governor of Maine. You have roots in Maine. So, tell us where you come from, where you grew up, and kind of your upbringing, your home environment.
Sure thing. Well, thank you for having me on. I've watched your show. I think you do a great job, and I love that you guys aren't afraid to take on everything. So, thank you for having me. My name is Aaron Chadbourne. I grew up in Gorham, and when I was growing up in Gorham, my family, the Chadbourne, sailed over in 1632. They've been in Maine forever. My mom's side of the family is Greek, and they came over, I don't know, 1910, 1912, something like that. And like they came over looking for a better life, and they knew the quality of hard work. The Greeks worked in the shoe shops in Biddeford, Saco, and my dad's family, they were all farmers. And so when I was growing up, my parents were teachers, and we worked for everything. And so when you look at things today and you see kids coming out of school thinking, well, I'm not going to work, I'm just going to go on welfare, or I don't know, I haven't found myself, and they don't have those same values, it kills me because when I was growing up, we had Maine values. Maine values meant you had to provide for yourself, that you had to help your neighbor, that you didn't think you were better than anyone, and that we were all a community and that we worked together. And also, when I was a kid and graduated Gorham High School, was valedictorian before I went off to Harvard for college and law school and business school. Um, I thought that Maine's best days were ahead of us. And so when I left for college and grad school and to start my career and came back to work for Governor LePage, and I got to tell you, it was an incredible opportunity to be senior advisor to Governor LePage, working on tax reform and education reform. But when I came back to do it, you can imagine my surprise to see that in so many parts of our state, particularly the rural parts of our state, um, we've just forgotten about it. And they've been promised so much by so many people, and there's so much despair going on, and we don't need that. We have such amazing people, such amazing natural resources, and I'm running for governor because I want to give a voice to those people. I believe in them, and they believe in themselves. Now, what we got to do is get Augusta out of the way. Got to get the politicians who care about seeing their names in the newspaper more than they care about doing the right thing. We got to get rid of them, and we need real leadership for the Maine people.
No, for sure. I agree with everything you've said wholeheartedly, and that's part of the beauty of Maine is that's everybody's want, that's everybody's desire for living in Maine. So to to get into the meat of the issues here, you said that your specialty was tax reform, and listen, I'm a small business owner. I operate, you know what I mean, in Maine, largely in the greater Portland area. So dealing with the tax, I get that the tax has been great or however you know what I mean the perception is, but we're still paying 35%.
Yep.
When is enough and enough? And most of, like you said, Maine is working class. So when does the work?
Larry, you froze out on me, so I'm not sure if you can hear me, but I'm going to start to answer what I think your question was. Like, you know, the income tax, Maine is particularly high on our income tax. We're also high on property tax, and we're a little bit low on sales tax. But we tax everything. And why do you tax work? When you tax work, it disincentivizes it, right? I mean, we want to tell people go to work. That's what we want you to do. We live in a tourism state. We have a state where we're lucky to attract people here to enjoy our woods, to enjoy our waters, to enjoy our quality of life. I'm here in Portland right now where people are enjoying our restaurants and our boating, and you see the stuck at 70,000, has been for 40 years. So I'm looking at how do we continue to drive and grow. And if we are able to invest in our communities and get government out of the way, I think we're going to have an amazing, amazing opportunity for the next several years to double down on the reforms that Governor LePage has made. He got our financial house for the state government in order. He threw a lot of the bums out, but there's some are they're still there. You know what, Larry? You might not realize this because we look at Washington, you look at the deep state that Trump's talking about, you look at the deep state of people. That's what you get in government too. They come in, they see LePage get elected, they say, "I'm just going to burrow. I'm going to hunker down for 8 years or 4 years," they thought, but then he got reelected. Easy. They thought, "I'll burrow down and I'll just stand in the way of you doing anything." And guess what? You can't hide forever. We've actually got to do things to help the Maine people. And there are some great people in state government, but there are some other ones that are obstructionists. And we're going to set them aside. We're going to put pedal to the metal and grow our economy so that it benefits the working man and women.
That's great to hear. I'll be 100% honest with you.
I don't know if you can hear me, Larry. I can't hear you.
Yeah, we've had some technical difficulty. I actually
Okay, I'll
dropped
come back.
out.
We can do it again. I would love to come back another time too. Don't worry about
Well, listen, I think all I have to do is reboot this. For some reason, my computer cut out. You stayed live, but I lost the feed, and I think the people lost the feed. So if you want, I know you just went into great detail,
it. Yep.
but I'll send you another one, and we'll try to do this because this is great. This is really important, and I think the fact that you hinted on all of LePage's good things, where he nationally gets a really bad rap. I'm one of the staunch LePage supporters. You know what I mean? I like all the good things that he's done, and I think he's done a lot of good things. I just don't think it's hit our pockets yet. You know
No,
what
I'll
I
tell
mean?
you. I'll tell you what. I'll tell you that you have to wait because like he pushed really really hard. It didn't come to our pockets because the federal government has been with Obama in the White House, the Obama administration. No matter what the state did, they came after and got in our way. I will tell you how much I appreciate the Trump administration. But forget whatever you want to say about President Trump. They took a different approach to the states. They call us up and say, "What do you need and how can we help?" How refreshing after 8 years of Barack Obama to all of a sudden have a president, have an administration that actually is deferential to the states because they know that the states, closer to the people, closer to where things are happening, they ask us and they partner with us. By the way, my phone is at 10%, so if it dies, I apologize. I guess it's just part of the
Yeah.
course of what we're doing. But I'll tell you,
No, yeah.
LePage. The thing I hear about LePage, all these people say, "Oh, we hate LePage." No, no, no. I'll tell you more often than not. You know, because I live in I grew up in Gorham. I keep a place up by Augusta in Hollowell, but I live in southern Maine, and so you have to be careful. You say, "Oh, well, I work for Governor LePage," and you know what? More often than not, everyone said, "I love his policies. I just wish he'd speak a little bit differently." And he has that French temper. He's lived a long life. He grew up homeless. He's a brawler, and so brawler's gonna brawl, right? So, but people love his policies. They love that we have reduced the size of government, and they'd like us to go further. That he unfortunately, the legislature didn't work with him to reduce spending. They increase spending every single year. We need to make sure that if we're growing spending, it's only because we're growing our economy, and we haven't been. Government has been growing, right? But we've shrunk the number of government jobs, we've reduced the tax burden, and now we're getting the federal government to fall in line with us. In the Trump tax package, the reason that tax conformity, if we don't pass it, will hurt us this time is because Maine was already far ahead of the federal government. It's just the federal government takes a bigger bite out of your wallet, right?
No, for
Especially the
sure.
lower end, especially for the working men and women. So we've got to continue, and we need strong leadership. We can't go backwards. We can't give Democrats back the keys. And by the way, we can't give it to someone who's outside of government who's getting played by lobbyists. And that's what I'm concerned about the Republican nominee. Is it someone who has not spent time in those halls? And it takes a little bit of time to figure out who you can trust. And government doesn't run the same way as a business. And we don't need it to because business can handle what business can handle. But there are a few things that only government can do, and we need them to focus on those and do them really well. The problem
Right.
with most
I'm a
politicians, they fall in love with these buzzwords. They think it's going to be a silver bullet. And you know what? There is no silver bullet that is disguised in buzzwords. The government's usually not the solution.
Absolutely. And I'm for smaller government. I think we need to let the private sector handle the jobs for the private sector. Let the government handle the municipalities and the things that they handle. The other thing I want to touch on with you, I know your phone's dying. One big thing that goes along with the taxes that we say we spend a lot of our tax money on is the education.
Yep.
The education is a crucial thing for you being a product of two teachers.
Yep.
But when I was growing up, it was No Child Left Behind, and then it was Common Core curriculum, which is a total mess, even worse than No Child Left Behind. So I know some of these are federal mandates, but what
No,
is your
not
plan?
anymore.
No,
Not
not
anymore.
anymore.
They were.
Yeah.
They
So what is
were.
your plan?
And now the
Right. So
state.
what is your
Oh,
plan for for a great education system? Because we need to change what we have now.
we
Period.
need to peel back a lot of these requirements, and a bunch of them under every Students at Seas Act. Maine has the opportunity to peel back a lot of these mandates and to go to the federal government and say we're not going to play. The federal government gives us like 1%, 2% of our actual education spending. We can give it back to them, and it wouldn't even notice at all. What we need to do is we need to let teachers teach, let students learn. Because what we've done is we've had all these jargon, proficiency based diplomas, Common Core, this, that, whatever, and we're micro measuring our students. Instead, we should do formative testing, test students as they go, give teachers feedback, figure out who's ahead, who's behind, and let the good teachers, really good teachers, know how to address what students need. The challenge is we don't give the teachers the support. All the money is going to this like overbuilt infrastructure because we had a system that was built for, I don't know, at its peak 250,000 kids. We only have 177,000 today. So we need to right size it, and we need to particularly look at high school. High school is a place where our quality of education is faltering because when you don't have enough students, you can't afford the programs. We need to spend more money on our teachers and a little bit less money on our administration and on our buildings and our maintenance. We could do it, and we could focus on the trades. You got to return to real things. You don't just teach people like science out of a textbook. Why not do it in an applied manner? Whether you're talking about robotics and engineering, or whether you're talking about carpentry, whether you're talking about, I mean, whether you're talking about electricians. Like we need electricians, we need CNAs. We could get people certified for that by the time they graduate high school. So if they don't want to
No,
go on to
definitely.
college, they're not
Trade
ready for it,
classes are huge. We
right?
need more trade.
We do. And trades are not a four-letter word. Like I don't know why our state has moved away from them, but we could have people graduating high school ready to go, not need to go to community college. If later they decide they want to move on and advance their skills, cool. But we've been saddling people with all this college debt when they didn't need it. We could graduate them ready to work and work in like really good professions that we need people for. Why aren't we doing that? That's what we need to do. And it takes a little bit of money, but I've been doing it. I have these 3 pilot projects I'm working on. One in St. John Valley in northern Rostic, one in the Holton area in southern Rostic, and one in Piscataquis County. And when the state finds out what we've been doing while no one was paying attention, while people were sleeping on Governor LePage, the LePage administration has been rewiring our education system to help students learn and to be able to enter the workforce. And that's what we need. Education shouldn't be separate in a silo. Education is a part of how we grow our people to be contributors to society. It's fundamental to our economy. It's fundamental to like attracting businesses here and keeping them here. It's fundamental to keeping young people like you and me to stay here and have our families here. So I think that's what we need to do. Peel back the BS, right? The BS like acronyms, buzzwords, and focus on great teachers, making sure that we help teachers get better. We invest in them. We pay them what they're worth. We professionalize the profession like it used to be. And then we focus on like what kids need for the skills they want so that they can do whatever they want. If they want to go to college like I did and I had a great opportunity to do it, great. Let's make sure that they're prepared to do it. If they're ready to go to work, let's get them skilled up for the jobs of today.
Nah, for sure. That's I love that answer, and I think that is covers everything in great detail. The next thing I want to touch with you before we cut out, before anything else hits up, is the main care, the Medicare,
Yep.
my mother, she's got an injury, and it's
Yep.
just been hectic trying to get the right diagnosis of what's going on, to get the right treatment, and it's just been longer than it needs to be. And that's just one case that I can speak to personally.
Yep.
I probably got 5 more that I could speak to, and it's really just the getting the people who need it what they need, where people who probably don't need it have it
Yep.
and are abusing it. So where do we get where's your plan to kind of rein that in, because it's been reined in quite a bit. It's not as rampant as it once was, but it's still there. And for
Well,
people who really
yeah.
need it, it's a sad issue.
The issues that we have on Maine Care, right? So there's this whole thing about Medicaid expansion. We'll set that aside because the people voted on that one. But the big issue is, so all right, now people have the access, but what can they actually get seen by the doctor? Do they actually get their needs met? The answer is
Right.
no. And part of it is a culture problem. You have a lot of people that are in the program, that are running these programs, that sit in their office and they have a compliance mindset. They think it's my job to make sure that you check every box of this checklist and to like look for something to get you on. They don't do it. What we've been doing in the Veteran Service Bureau, what we've been doing at DEP, we've been doing in some of our licensing bureaus, and what I think we need to do in Maine Care and in the parts of government where we need government and the parts we don't get out of it, what we need to do is say, hey, your job isn't to find the way to tell someone they can't get the service they need. Your job is to say, this person that you're in charge of like covering, what can you do to help them? We don't have a consumer mindset. We don't have a customer service user interface mindset when it comes to government. And when we evaluate whether programs are working, when was the last time you got asked, as a member of the public who needs to interact with government? When's the last time you got asked, hey, like, how was your interaction? Did it do what you needed to do? And did anyone care? Do we decide whether to give more money to programs based on whether or not they actually worked for people? And do we actually ask the customer, the patient, did you get it? Our rates for Maine Care are atrocious. So because the government sets the rate, and they just say, oh, doctors and hospitals, you have to take these rates. There are a lot of people who won't even take them. That's why it's so hard for your mom to get service, is because if you're on Maine Care, like, they're not going to want to take it. And we need greater hospital access. We need to have them here. But instead, we play these gimmicks and games where we cut the fee over here, over there. Instead, how about we just look about what does it cost and what's going to take to get our people insured and give them like insurance that's actually going to give them access to care. That was the big scam of Obamacare. We gave everyone insurance, or we actually didn't. We took insurance away from everyone. We broke the system so that we went from having a small unemployed population to a smaller unemployed population, uninsured population. I'm sorry. And so we still have uninsured. The system just got broken for everyone. And now it's harder to get access to a doctor. So I think we need to address the other problem. Like, do we have enough doctors? And if the insurance companies aren't paying enough, because it's actually expensive. Some of these processes now are really expensive. Insurance companies aren't paying enough. They're pocketing all the profits. We need to hold the insurance companies accountable, and we need to hold the people in the bureaucracy accountable and say, your job is not to just check boxes and defend the bureaucracy. Your job is to help the people who are paying your paycheck.
Absolutely. Yeah. No. It's definitely tough waters to tread, and to try to bring that cost down and make it a competitive market for the insurance companies. But yep, we lost them. Hey, everybody, I want to thank you for tuning in. I am definitely going to be in touch, and we are going to finish this out. This has been one wild ride. Hopefully, you guys have kind of enjoyed it. We definitely got some good answers from them and some good insight. Definitely got some more answers, questions that need to be answered. So hopefully we do this again real soon. I definitely would like to do this before the week is out again. So again, thank you. And that is our show for tonight. See, I wanna draw it out and have it be a more longer process of a conversation, because if you watch back what we just did, he was in campaign mode. You know what I mean? All his answers were I mean, he got 15 minutes in 5 minutes. You know what I mean? It was just that, it's that campaign mode. So I'd like to draw it out a little bit longer and get
I mean, that's where he's at, though. That ain't gonna change until either he wins or loses, because right now, that's what